We can move on to the French newspapers. That's with James Creedon, as usual, has been going through all of the French press this morning. James, we noticed a little bit earlier, pretty much all of them leading on that one same story, and it has very little to do with France right now, does it?
It could be a German press review, except all the headlines are in French,
I'm
somewhat
sure you've
confusingly.
got a German press review for us a little bit later on.
Absolutely, we'll have a look at some of the German headlines. But first, Les Echos, French business paper, and this is all to do with Germany's decision to get rid of nuclear energy by 2022. Now, this, of course, has an impact in France, which is highly dependent on nuclear energy. And they say here on the front page of Les Echos, nuclear energy, the shockwave of Germany's choice. And they have some figures there. France has 58 nuclear reactors. Germany, by comparison, a more populous country, has only 17, but those 17 are to be done away with in the next 10 or so years.
Take a look at that picture there. The Brandenburg Gate with a very subtle nuclear logo on there.
There you go, over the centre of it. And what they're saying essentially is that environmental politicians in France, or green politicians in France, are in favour of this decision in Germany, not surprisingly. Socialists are sort of sitting on the fence. They're remaining prudent, as the French papers are saying here. And the UMP ruling party disagrees with the German decision and is defending nuclear energy. So basically, what's interesting about that from a French perspective is we're 1 year ahead of the presidential election in 2012. And this is going to be a key issue now in that campaign over the next 12 months.
Yes, that's only just developed, really, hasn't it? Due to Germany. For the moment, France's point of view, that is, of course, the government point of view, is that they will not follow Germany's lead. But as you said there, 2012 presidential elections coming up here in France, and it will be an issue.
So we'll just have a quick look at some of the other front pages on this same issue. Germany's choice is inevitable, says the Catholic but also quite mainstream La Croix newspaper. Germany and France are separated now by this issue. What they're saying in their editorial, though, is that this is now something, the diversification of energy sources is an issue that most countries are going to have to face, that all countries are going to have to face, and over-reliance on nuclear is just going to have to change, according to La Croix. Le Figaro, for their part, Germany cedes to the environmentalists is their headline, and what they say there is that this was an electoral strategy by Angela Merkel, who ceded to the environmentalists, and in fact they are critical of this. They're saying that it undermines European energy independence.
Well, be it an electoral strategy or not, it is still quite amazing that all of this happened with the nuclear crisis happening miles and miles away in Japan with the Fukushima plant, and that's now having an effect not only on the newspapers we're looking at, but at French and German politics indeed.
Now, we'll have a look, we'll move to the left-leaning daily Libération. Marre des machos is their headline, sick of machos. James. And here you've got 6 female politicians in France, some better known than others. You've got Roselyne Bachelot, former health minister. She's still a cabinet minister in Sarkozy's government. And they are basically saying that it's a very macho climate, a very macho culture, the French political world. Still, despite all of the scandals that have come out lately, I suppose it'll take a little bit of time for things to change, but the Dominique Strauss-Kahn scandal very much shone the spotlight on the issue of, I suppose, a certain macho type of behaviour in politicians. Of course, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, it's going through the courts. It's nothing has been proven just yet. But Roselyne Bachelot, for instance, she says that being a female politician, it's like climbing the rock of Sisyphus, a kind of a Greek mythological reference where you climb up kind of a rock and you keep falling back down and climbing back up. She said that, the paper says there are 17% of MPs who are female. In France, there was a law passed 10 years ago on female-male parity, which clearly hasn't been respected. So they're shining the spotlight on those issues.
It is the case in a few other European countries. Libération, they're in a sense really doing what they do best or worst, in whatever your opinion might be, doing a completely different story to everybody else.
That's right. That's right. They've got to be a little bit different. Now, other stories on the front pages this morning. There's this rather horrendous story of a police car that slipped off the road in a town near Tours, Joué-les-Tours, yesterday at 3 p.m. and one school child was killed, 11 others were injured. So it's a horrendous story, and that's also making the front page of Le Parisien up here on the right hand side. But I just will finish perhaps with a little bit of the French Open, because of course that is also on the front pages. Well, in particular of the sports paper L'Équipe. Mon fils au pied du Rocher, and I think they probably mean they're au pied du Rocher.
it's very
and Rocher
smart, yeah.
means I suppose at the bottom of the hill or at the bottom of the
Yes,
mountain,
pretty much, yeah.
because Monfils would be one of France's hopes to do well in this year's French Open. But of course, Roger over here, Roger Federer, is probably more likely to do well in that particular quarter-final match that we'll see them meet today in the French Open.
Yes, big tennis action there at Roland Garros. Not far at all from where we are here. What is
Right,
it?
just
About 4 kilometres.
just over the road. Just over the road.
Yeah, we're not going.
But it's much
there.
more exciting here.
Absolutely fascinating. Thank you very much, James, for that. So that's the French press review. International press review.